Hi all, and welcome to the Fife Property Market Update. This is giving you the insight into what's happening in the Fife Property Market from the 26th of February to the 4th of March yesterday. So I'm going to give you the weekly roundup and talk about what's driving the Fife Property Market, including a look at recent listings, what sales we've got coming soon, and also what sales completed. So keys handed over, people moved in, money exchanged. So it allows us to be able to give you an idea of the pricing around that as well. Also going to talk about some of the articles, podcasts, TV shows that we've written and produced this week. So it's been quite a busy week for us actually on all fronts, on our media platforms, but also in regards to sales. So really looking forward to talking that through with yourselves and giving you a bit of an insight as well into, as I say, that last week, and then how that compares to the whole month of February now that we have that stats. So I'm going to just do that just now. We'll jump into that. So last week, the first week we have here, so from 26th February to 4th of March, pretty good instructions come on there, 122. So we've seen that around about the 150 mark. So 122 is quite good. It's an improvement on last week as well. So it's 122 properties that have been brought to the market, and 105 have sold and had offers accepted on them. So if we look at some of the performing areas, some really big shout outs on this one. So Cooper, 4 new properties listed, 9 sold. So basically double their stock has been sold. So that's a really good improvement on where we were last week, and really great to see as well. So it definitely shows that that buyer demand is still out there. East Neuk, 3 were instructed, 5 were sold. So again, similar picture. St Andrews, 8, 9 sold. That's unusual for St Andrews. Generally within St Andrews, we see the kind of either level or under. So actually for them to overperform on what they've sold versus what they've listed is good. Leavemouth basically has sold its own, 8 and 8. Dunfermline, 60 instructed, 45 sold. Again, that doesn't really give us the true picture because a lot of new builds don't go down as sold. So, you know, it can be a little bit deceiving and distort the numbers a little bit there. Glenrothes, 16 came to market and 11 sold. And again, you've got that situation in Glenrothes with new builds that don't go there. But we normally see Glenrothes is quite steady, don't we? Kirkcaldy, 23 versus 18, similar picture. Those last 3 all seem to repeat that kind of similar fold. So 122 were listed and 105 came to market. That's a pretty steady performance. Let's have a look at what that actually meant in the whole month, because obviously that's just a week snapshot. So if we look at the month, so here, for instance, you had 521 properties in Fife that were listed and instructed, and 476 sold. That's still a great percentage. It's showing you there that there's definitely a seller's market, but also that the buyer demand is there as well. So if we break that down into the regions of Fife, so Cooper, we're sitting at 33 were instructed in February and 28 sold. So pretty steady. East Neuk, 13 versus 17, so overperformance there. So definitely still lack of quality of properties coming on in that area. So the demand is still there in regards to buyers. So a great opportunity if you've got an East Neuk property and you're thinking of selling. This is definitely indicate that it's a good time to do so. St Andrews, 37 v 35, so pretty steady in St Andrews. So again, that's a good performance. Leavemouth is always steady, always performs well. So 38 listed and 42 were completed and sold in the month. Dunfermline, 201 versus 217. Glenrothes, 76.52, and Kirkcaldy, 123 versus 85. So again, actually, when you look at the ones that are not got new builds in there, really steady performances actually, and pretty much holding their own. A couple over performances, as we say, in the East Neuk there. So definitely seller's market and buyer demand is out there. So certainly that's what we're seeing in regards to. So if we now look at where we are in regards to some of the shows that we did and some of the articles that we did. So Richard and Karen, they did a show on landlords' expenses. Use our expert guys to claim back every cost-effective entitlement that you have as a landlord. So how many tax allowances do you think you can claim from owning a rental property? The truth might pleasantly surprise you, and actually the article and the link to the article is here. It's a 4-minute read, or you can listen to the article. It entirely depends on what you prefer. Being a landlord is a business at the end of the day, but from our experience, not every landlord knows what they're entitled to claim. So Richard and Karen talk about that for you and give you a good insight as to what you can do there. So as well as the obvious costs like mortgages and maintenance, there are many smaller expenses that maybe you don't actually appreciate. And that can soon add up to a nice amount of money that you can be able to claim back. So make a real difference to your bottom line as well in regards to whether or not your profit and your income there. So again, watch it, listen, entirely up to yourself how you do that. And then myself, I actually did a show as well, which was the Zoopla UK Fife House Price Index, and that basically came out in January. And what we talked about in that article was annual house price inflation, and how that has slowed to 5.3%, down from 8.6% last year. And also, you know, how did we see things working in regards to interest rates? So Bank of England, they basically said that, you know, maybe slowing down and not doing something now can cause pain later on. But actually, they don't know. So I think that might unfold as next week goes on in regards to where we're at with that, because that statement was made by them and then all of a sudden there was a little bit of a backtrack. So they grabbed the headline and then they changed their mind. So we'll wait and see what that actually is going to look like for us. One of the other things that I covered in that was also about buyer demand, and that sales volumes are about 20 to 50% lower than a year ago, but slightly ahead of pre-pandemic. And certainly what I indicated in Fife was that actually in Fife what we've seen is we've pretty much held our own. And Fife, what it was at the end of December, actually has performed that way, which was at 5.7% improvement right through the whole of the year. So we have to remember that these stats are very much UK orientated. We're talking mainly in Fife because that's what concerns ourselves. Sellers are having to accept in some instances 4.5% discounts as well on the asking price to achieve a sale. Certainly that's what they're saying UK-wide. Hasn't really seen that as far as Fife is concerned, so that's good for us. We've kind of seen quite a steady market over the last 12 months. But this 4.5% discount they're saying is the highest for 5 years as buyers take hold of the market. So again, maybe that's an indicator as to what's to come, but certainly we're not seeing that in Fife at this moment. Average discounts to asking price that some people are having to take as well in the UK is 14,000, which means that sellers are having to forgo a third of their pandemic house price gains. Again, we're not seeing that in Fife. Fife's still sitting at 5.7% and it's been steady. When we look at the UK rates, as I've said about that 14,000, what they've actually seen is that was December, but actually that has increased from, you know, October, November, December, but actually the December price was the same as the May price. So actually it's a bit of a recap on itself and it's probably pretty much steadied itself out effectively. Broad-based repricing of housing is underway as well. UK house price inflation is set to move into low negative year on year by the summer. But again, I think that's going to really depend on what happens with the interest rates and what the Bank of England do with that. We know that inflation has come down to 10.1. They've got a target of 2%. That may be very unrealistic. How quickly that will change and divert towards that, really, we don't know at this moment in time. I think the positive thing in the news has been, though, actually that our borrowing as a country has lessened. So that may actually make a difference in what they do next. So I guess we just have to watch this space because the headline changes constantly, doesn't it? So we just need to wait and see what happens with that one, I think. But the market is still on track for a soft landing with modest prices falling up to about maybe 5% UK-wide. But as I say, we didn't really see that impact in Fife. We're certainly still seeing gains in Fife. The average house price in Fife at the moment, for instance, is gone up. That's now at 184,000. And price gains are still 5.7%. So still a very strong market in Fife. But again, if you want to kind of read the article, then by all means do so. The link is in this page. Some articles that are coming up. So we've got the Wealth Creation Show coming on Monday at 12:30, and that's live on all of these channels. And then on Saturday, I don't know if you saw the Saturday show, but the Saturday one was, again, Richard and Karen, and it was the ultimate guide to buy and let investors. So if you're wondering how to make money from property, then buy-to-let investments is one of the most popular and lucrative methods out there. But as Jim constantly says, it's not a short game. This is very much a long game if you're going to get into property development and property investments. So by purchasing buy-to-let property, investors can generate attractive returns and benefit from ownership of valuable assets in the UK property market. Again, as I say, it's long term, so that's where your return is going to come from. So before getting started with buy-to-rent, it is almost absolutely essential that there are certain things that you need to know about. And if you think you need to brush up on your buy-to-let property knowledge, our buy-to-let tips are out there and they help to give you advice and guidance on how you get started in your investment journey. Again, Jim's out there constantly giving that guidance and advice. So watching these programs and the wealth creation shows will definitely give you good insight on how you can achieve that. Luckily, you don't need to head back to school to understand that. So Richard is one of the UK's most successful property investors, along with Jim Parker, and they're on hand to take you through any kind of considerations that you have from building a property portfolio what it means to purchase several buy-to-lets, the opportunities to generate a significant return on your investment, but more so than you would think just from having one property. Also making sure you're financially ready for it as well, setting goals, doing your research, remembering to diversify with benefits of hands-off investment as well. So what that basically means is it's making an income for you, but it will only do that if you put all that effort in at the beginning and really understand what it is that you're looking to invest in and how that's going to work for yourself. And as I say, it is pretty much a long-term game to get those returns, but they will be able to tell you all about that. So yep, the links are on here as well. So jump on, click on the links, and then watch the podcast when they go live. And we've got lots of additional on our YouTube channels, lots of additional information out there that can help you with it as well. So definitely a good way to get your information and get yourself started. So from that, I'm now going to talk about what we've sold in the area. So gosh, the team had such a busy week actually in sales. And that's a really good thing in regards to predicting possibly where things are going to go in the future. Everyone is telling us we're going to sell in springtime. Certainly looks like spring has sprung when I tell you what we've been doing this week. So this is a little snapshot of Fife Properties. So the first one that we sold, so this one here that we sold was 13 Upper Greens in Upper. That sold in 1 week, and that was a 2-bedroom upper apartment. And the new owners are absolutely elated to relocate from Edinburgh to a beautiful little town. This was listed at offers over 130,000. We did have another person that missed out on this. So again, just for you to think about it, if you've got a property of this type, we've got a buyer that's actually waiting. So a good one for you to get some insight and knowledge on ahead of the game. The next one that we sold, I'll just drop in and show you that one. So this one was 10 Crawley Crescent in Springfield. This sold in 1 week. There was really quite a bit of demand for this, lots of activity, lots of foot traffic with viewers. This one was a 3-bed semi-detached house. The new owners are happy with their new family home, which is fantastic. This was listed at offers over 135,000. So again, if you've got something in the Springfield area that's similar to this property, we had lots of interest in here. So reach out to us, we can certainly help you with that. And then the next one that we sold was, oops, beg your pardon. So the next one that we sold was 5 Pitlethy Steadings. This was gorgeous. It was a beautiful, beautiful property. It was a 4-bed terraced house, finished to a really nice standard inside. And the new owners love their new home. Really looking forward to settling there. This was listed at offers over 310,000. So again, if you've got something like that in Lookers, certainly reach out to us. But it gives you a bit of a flavour of what property in that area is selling for, which I think is the important thing for you through this. The next one that we sold was 20 Dunedin Park in Balmullo. This was a lovely one. This sold in a couple of months. It was a 2-bed semi-detached bungalow. Lots of opportunity with this one to add value as well. The new owners are excited to be downsizing. This is perfect for them. They were looking for one level living, and this has really offered that to them. And this was listed at offers over 160,000. So again, if you've got something similar in Balmullo, it gives you a good flavour for what your property is likely to be valued at. And then the next one that we had was in London Links. This was 2 Penrith Park. That sold in 4 weeks. It was a 4-bed detached house. This was a really lovely one. You can see there with a nice double garage as well. The new owners are over the moon with their new family home. This one was listed at offers over £350,000. And again, it gives you a good insight as to the size of the property that you can get in that area for that price point. And then finally, I know finally, we were so busy last week. So finally, we have Rowland Street in St Monans. So this was sold in 10 days. This was a 1-bed upper apartment, finished to a really nice standard actually, really lovely. And you've got the garden area out the back as well. The new owners are over the moon with their first home. This was listed at offers over 90,000. And actually we had 3 other people that missed out on this one. So again, if you've something similar like this in St Monans, around about the Rowland Street area, we've got buyers waiting. So it'll be a really great opportunity for you to get potentially a quick agreement if you're thinking about selling. So certainly think about that and come back to us. In regards to what we've got coming soon, so we have quite a busy week with what's coming soon as well. So Laverock Terrace in Glenrothes, we've got a 4-bed terrace house coming on. The Rundle in London Links. Now this is a good one. So this is a lovely bungalow. So it's like the chalet type bungalow, rooms upstairs as well, but it's absolutely perfect. It's 3 bedrooms and it's got 1 level living downstairs, which is grand. We've then got another one coming on, which is a 34 High Street in Crail. This is a 4-bed masonette. Really lovely property as well. Lots of opportunity to add value to that one too. Then we have 20 Alan Robertson Drive in St Andrews, and that is a 3-bed terrace property that's coming. And then we've got 26 Green Gates in Leven, which is a 3-bed upper masonette. This is a great one actually to put a bit of value add on it. So really looking for someone to come along, and a great opportunity maybe for a buy to let, first time buyer, maybe even a downsizer actually. It's a really, really nice property, and it's got garden at the back, which is a massive, massive plus. Now, completed. What did we complete? Keys handed over, money in the bank. So it allows us to be able to tell you what those properties sold at. So completed, we had one in 3 West 4th Street in St Mornans. Really popular area. This was a 3-bed detached property. It sold in 1 week, and it sold for 7.5% over the home report value as well. So for our client, actually, that equated to 30,000 extra for them in regards to what they were receiving as a return on the property. So that one sold at 410,000. That was a really great price point for West 4th Street. Beautiful, stunning views across the back as well. I actually had the pleasure of being at that property quite a few times, and it's really stunning. And I know the new owners are really looking forward to enjoying it, and that's their forever home. So great to see them settling in that new house. It looks fantastic, and it's just suited them perfectly. Other property that they had was 118 Methil Bray in Methil. That was a 2-bed semi-detached property. That sold in 2 months for over 5% over the home report value. So that equated to another 5,000 for our client, and that actually sold for 95,000. So again, if you've got a property in the Methil Bray area that's of that like, that'll give you a bit of a flavour of what it was. This was absolutely exquisite inside as well. Stunning kitchen, great space upstairs, quite a bit of an eclectic property. It was really, really nice and a bit unusual. And I know the new owners are really looking forward to their new home and settling in. And that pretty much was what we did on the completed front. So busy week ahead. We've got some shows that are coming up. As I say, you've got the Wealth Creation show on Monday. That will be with Richard, as Jim is still away. As some of you will have seen, Jim has been in Africa literally conquering a mountain. And I think he's had a fabulous time doing that. So he's taken a couple of days to recoup and get himself back in the saddle, as it were. So looking forward to supporting you next week. Any information that you need, watch our blogs, message us directly. We're more than happy to help. And this is Perry at Fife Properties TV. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.